Welcome to another day in the Matrix, waters above crypto. This weekend starting off with a big red pill for everyone. Last night, a handful of altcoins hit new all-time highs and then got immediately rejected across the board. I'm going to get into the charts a little bit and explain the setup moving into the week ahead. I anticipate next week to be a turbulent week with the April 20th 42 date numerology moving into the April 24th 424 mirroring date while we transition into Taurus. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with the esoteric science of Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. If you haven't subscribed already and you like what we're doing here, feel free to subscribe. Give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious people to help grow this community. If you'd like to join the Mastermind course, my email is in the description box below. There's also a promo code for lifetime access to the Mastermind in a pinned comment. So let's take the red pill. Looks like some people out there are really curious to know if the bull run is ending. I have had a lot of people bring up something called the pi cycle top indicator and telling me about how when we see these shit coins like Dogecoin move up, that it's kind of a signal that we are about to have a big correction. And I just wanted to show something real quick that I think a lot of people are disregarding, which is volume. So volume is supply. And if you look at our volume, it has had a nice decline moving into these higher prices. So you're seeing price increase and supply leave the market. This makes less volatility. Now I want to go back into 2017 near the end of the bull run, and you can see something that's going on here. And if I zoom out and show you, you can actually see that moving into this top, the volume started to move up. It actually increased and then started really getting high around the time of the end of the bull run. So if I zoom in, you can see very clearly that there is a upthrust of supply moving in. For the most part, it's upthrust after upthrust, multiple. If you look at the levels here, you can see. So let's go back to where we're at now, and you can see that we are actually having diminishing supply. We haven't had a new supply breakout since back here, February 23rd. So it's something to keep in mind for everyone, because I think a lot of people get lost in the sauce when they're like doing their TA and they're trying to, they have all these trend lines and they have all this stuff going on, but sometimes they overlook some very, very basic stuff. And one thing to know about Bitcoin at this very moment, it's 90% of the supply is now circulating, and it is the most illiquid it's ever been. Somewhere around 76% of all the Bitcoin is currently in cold storage. So even if we do get a dip, or maybe even a touchdown to the 21-week EMA, which we've talked about here before, if that was to occur, that would actually be healthy. So far, this whole bull run across the board, with one exception being XRP, has been very unhealthy. And even this move that XRP has done, where it moved from the 40-cent region all the way up to $1.96, that was not healthy. It needs to build support. So when I was mentioning there's potential for testing of lower levels, it's not like it's my opinion. It's because this bull run has been unhealthy across the board. And yep, now that we're seeing things like Nano pump 100% in one day, then get rejected, saw Dogecoin pump, and it's currently down like 40% from the top. This is just the kind of things that markets do when the shit coins want to have fun. So when the big guys are sleeping, the shitties come out to play, and that's just the way it goes. So we're going to get a little bit deeper into this chart moving into the weekly close. As you can see, I'll remove the volume because we don't need to look at that at this time. I had these two red circles. One of these red circles I think is invalidated, and it is this one right here, because it looks like we are currently back in this pattern where we are making new highs but not breaking out exuberantly, and we're pulling back into something called a backup phase. So I'll remove this. And we see that I believe that we're currently having a similar move from up to getting rejected at the 24,000 level. Remember, 24, really key number here. The 24 and the 42 are very repetitive, key numbers this year. And then after getting rejected, pulled back, and then where did it head? Right to 42,000. And believe it or not, the high on this chart was, if I remember correctly, 42,242. You can't get much more ritual than that. But anyways, as we're moving up and down into this, I'm expecting there to be maybe a little bit of sideways action before continuation, and that would align very heavily with the big important dates we're moving into, which would be 420 on Tuesday, then 424, and then finally the 28th of April, which is the 117th day of the year, the 117 coming back to Bitcoin in the reverse ordinal cipher using Gematria. If you're unaware of what I just said, please go back and watch my earlier videos. And yeah, so another thing to take note of is this red trend line. This red trend line signifying that we are still putting in higher lows. So this is still an uptrend. We are also above the 786 golden pocket of the previous all-time high. The previous high structure to the swing low of the structure. That's very bullish. Another thing on this daily chart, I'll bring up the 21-day EMA, which you can see is this orange line right here. And the 21-day EMA is sitting right above the 786. So it's very possible that we get a close, still have a little red tomorrow, bounce off the 21 around 59,000, and then just kind of do something like this. It's very plausible, and it would actually be a good thing. The more and more Bitcoin trades at this higher 59,000 level into the low 60,000 level, that's telling me that when Bitcoin breaks out next, it's probably going to start approaching somewhere around the 6 digits. It's probably going to go to 100,000. And then if it pulls back, it's probably going to pull back to the $60,000 range. So all in all, we could be seeing on the next leg up in May, the price hit 100,000 and then come back to this support area, because this whole area has been a amazing support. People keep wanting these new all-time highs after all-time highs, but again, that's not healthy. That's not what my work centers around. I'm trying to be as logical as possible here. And if we're all expecting a bull run to last until January for the altcoins, and as quick as, as far as December 2021, look at how much time we have in between now and then. So, I mean, if Bitcoin's already at 60,000 and stock to flow is saying 90,000, and then, we have like Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve charts saying 120,000 all the way over in December, we're already halfway there. And I don't think this price moves just like up in a straight line anymore. We just have to see how things go. But for the most part, this Bitcoin analysis is super crucial, especially if you own altcoins, because as you can see, when Bitcoin rampaged from the 20,000 to 42,000, it didn't really help the altcoins out too much because the dominance was 70% at the time. Right now, we're looking at a Bitcoin dominance somewhere in the 52 range. You can see right here, 52.7. That's low. It's really low. So we've seen a pump in dominance and then a kickback like here. The beginning of the year from the Thanksgiving time all the way up, and then huge dump, right? So this, if we zoom out, we could see we're falling through this support channel, but we're entering a new support around this level where we previously were at in 2018. We fall any lower than that, it's alt season. But this 52 level could be a bounce area. We just have to see. Anyways, another really important thing about Bitcoin is we are about to have a 2-day, 3-day, and weekly close happening in tomorrow. So a 2-day closure, 3-day or weekly, all at the level we're currently at is still just fine. It would be much better if we close above 61,000, which we're really close to. We're $500 away on tomorrow's weekly close. If we close below the 59,800 level, that's I'm not happy with that. That's a bad doji candle to put in. So let's go to XRP. I'm going to go to XRP on the 4-hour. And you could see something's different here from yesterday. Remember, we had this red trend line. And we could see now that we're finally falling out of the trend line. And this is natural. When you have a really steep trend line and you're starting to trade sideways, you're eventually going to run through it. And that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Trend lines don't really matter. The most important thing is market structure. So as of now, when this trend line starts to fail, one of the things that I'm looking for is the $1.30 level is crucial. Because if we put in a new low below $1.37 like this will be a lower a lower low in the structure. So as long as we keep putting on higher lows like we have here, then here, here, and even here, we're good. But once we get one that's below the 130, that's when we have reversal time. And then naturally the reversal would come to this $1.11 range, which is where we saw resistance in the previous fractal. But as of right now, if you see where my cursor is at, we are perfectly bouncing above this previous fractal level, and that would make a lot of sense. Now all we got to do is maintain this structure, and yeah, things would be looking pretty good. The one thing I can say though is if I bring up some of the moving averages and I have my 8, 55, and 200, we're supported by the 200. We had a bounce. We haven't bounced there since we broke out. So take note of that. We're just bouncing yesterday and into today on this 200 on the 1 hour. If we start closing hourly candles below this 200, again, I anticipate the test back to the lower $1 levels. The 4 hour, we could do the same with this 55 EMA. We haven't touched it yet, but we're getting close. And if you could see where this 55 is, the white moving average right here, if I leave my cursor there, it's perfectly in alignment with this previous top. So it's showing me that this 55 can naturally move up. The only thing that I would think about that could make this bearish is this yellow crossing below this white. This is one of the things I use for altcoins for like a bearish cross. So we could get a bearish cross, and then we would look to the 200 on the 4 hour. Again, the 200 is exactly at $1 right now. So XRP is in a make or break moment. Like the people that want it to keep going up, you need to be considerate of this stuff. If this yellow crosses this white like this, it's probably going to come down to this 200. Okay, we'll see how many 4-hour candles or how many days it takes for this to occur. But this is something people need to take seriously. Because if you are sitting on the sidelines in XRP, that might be your buying opportunity. This 200 on the 4 hour, and then any more than that, we're just looking like completely we've undid the whole structure. So we'll take it one thing at a time. What's most important to me right now, in my opinion, is staying above $1.30. Write that on a post-it note. Put it on your refrigerator. Okay. So another thing to mention is we have extremely low volume right now for XRP. The volume is almost missing as of the last couple 6-hourly candles. So look at this, right? If I scrunch this down and we just look at volume for a second, you see all this volume that came in, but you see how we're having lower volume as we're moving down in volume. That's what I'm trying to say. But you see how we're still not as high as volume as we were on, like, this was the SEC dump, this was continuation of the SEC dump, and this right here, I know you might not be able to see it, this volume surge right here was from the coordinated pump group. Of course, on February 1st, we had one of our biggest volume spikes ever, where the price went from 77 cents all the way down to like 30 something cents. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. The volume's still pretty low for an XRP breakout. XRP, when it breaks out, it usually has a huge volume surge. So this is just something to keep in mind that it might be a really sustainable pump what we're getting. We might just have to come back test that $1 like 35 cent level just to put in like a weird halfway low and then pop up from there. So I'm gonna end this one for the day. I do have a video coming out tomorrow for the Mastermind community, my weekly red pill episodes, where I go over all the altcoins that everyone asks me about. So if you guys would like to join, I got the Patreon link in the description box. You could join that, and then you'll have access to the private insiders group. And if you'd like to learn more about cryptocurrencies and how to do technical analysis and how to utilize the esoteric code of Gematria and apply it to know what prices will happen on the dates it might happen, you can join my mastermind course by contacting my email in the description box. Also, there'll be a promo code in the pinned comment below, give you a little discount for lifetime access to the course. Looking forward to hearing from you guys, and enjoy the rest of your weekend in the Matrix. Much love.